which one looks natural. I don't look like I'm a boss in the office. No, this is good. I want this. We have worked with Neel Gohil for a couple of months this year, actually for a larger part of the month. And one of the things that strikes me is this is the first partnership we've actually ever had with any person in terms using the Shell brand in motorsport in Kenya, where the guy just walked up to you and said, look, I just want to work with you and I will show you why I'm worth your brand. And for every single weekend after that, he kept knocking it out of the park. You know, he kept winning. He kept his head up. I got to watch him roll in a motorsport vehicle, get up, finish the lap, and end up winning the entire, that particular race. So it's been an extremely beautiful journey to be able to see. He's ended up inspiring our whole company, inspiring Vivo Energy Kenya employees, inspiring some of the Shell partners that we have in the group. And it has gone all the way up to the top.
Believe me, that boy learned how to drive a manual car at the age of 11, I think, if I'm not mistaken, within 30 minutes. Within 30 minutes, that boy was taken to the Jamhuri racetrack by his dad on, I think it was a weekday in the afternoon, if I'm not mistaken, and he was given a manual pickup to drive, and he grasped it within half an hour. And the next time we went on the track, I saw that boy practicing in a manual, and I'm like, Sushil, this kid's been driving manual all this time. Why did we give him an auto? He said, no, he just learned it within half an hour. So you see, he has that in him, that enthusiasm in him to learn. And that's what's taken him so far. And from there, he upgraded from 1,000 to 1,300 to 1,500. And then he was doing 2 classes. He started doing in a WITS non-turbo, which was quite quick as well. And he has always been competitive. He has always been on improving. He's always been moving ahead. You know, he's not been stagnant. Like you have a few drivers or a few boys who'll come and just be stagnant where they are. But this boy has grown. He's moved ahead. He's shown interest. There are also other likes like him in his class. We have Aman Ganakra, who has also shown a lot of improvement, tremendous effort. Apparently, they're both friends. They both race in the same classes, and off track they are the best of buddies. But on the track, they are the biggest rivals. But a healthy rivalry, and that is what pushes each other, and that is what's healthy for these new hybrid drivers that we have nowadays. You know, they're quick, they're friendly. There's no politics between them. They're there to race, to have fun, and go home, and that's how it should be.
My name is Ruth Wangombe. I'm the brand manager for fuels for Vivo Energy in Kenya. V-Power embodies performance, and when we came to learn about Neel, he embodied what the brand stands for. He's very young, quite aggressive. He has the dream, and we not only fuel cars, but we also fuel dreams. And so we thought he fits what the brand stands for. And so we have been supporting him by giving him the fuel that he uses for racing. And our fuel, we use that partnership to also put our fuel to a test in terms of performance. And Neel has been able to actually deliver quite a bit this year, and we are really proud of him.
All right. Hi, my name is Neel Gohil, and I'm Neel's sister. My interest in racing started when my brother started racing. I've always seen videos and photos of my dad when he used to do rally, but my interest came in more when my brother started taking part in events, and I started seeing all these cool rally cars and people driving, so that's where I learned more about it. I always tell him this after every race, no matter if he wins or not, I always say try better next time. That's always my advice.
I met Neel a couple of years ago in autocross. I knew the father before when he was racing and even afterwards. And when I came to autocross, I found this bunch of young kids who were really driving very well, and I took an interest. And Neel actually caught my eye. And the last couple of years, I've seen his growth trajectory, which has been quite impressive. In fact, I say these kids are fearless. You see them taking corners and you wonder whether you have the courage to do that. But it has been a very good growth process. It is good that they started when they are young. And when you grow, with that kind of courage, with that kind of control, you go places.
So the first time I met Neel was in 2021. This was when I was doing my two-wheel drive championship in autocross. And I remember Neel was just a small boy. He was pretty tiny, and he was driving a buggy, and it looked so cute. The guy is in a buggy, so small, and I remember it was automatic and it was underpowered, but he was still sending it. His lines were pretty good, and by the time that, like, once he started getting competitive, you could see his growth in the sport. And the good thing about Neel is he's not stuck in one place. Most drivers, once they join the sport, they're just stuck at one level. With Neel, you can see him rising, and you can see that by his first race. He was in an automatic buggy, and then later on he moved to manual. Then he got a bigger engine, and then you saw his timings just shot up. You can see him get more competitive. So that's one good thing about Neel. It's that he's continuously growing as a motorsport person. And the good thing about Neel is that he's, like I said, he's always improving. But what you don't see is the effort this guy's put in. Because you'd see him post pictures of him winning trophies, this and that, and you'll be like, wow, that's amazing. But you don't see the behind of the scenes. You can see him dedicating his time to practicing. You can see his dad putting effort in the car. And I think that's just one of the great things about this sport is the dedication put into this.
My name is Neel Gohil. I like to be called Neel's dad. Let me start again, man. That was stupid.
That was actually key.
Right. Yeah. My name is Neel Gohil. I'm Neel's dad.
My name is Sangeeta and I'm Neel's mom. As a young baby, I've always seen him, attracted towards toys that is just cars. So I've always seen that fascination for Neel.
Yeah. As a young boy, you would never find Neel without a Matchbox car. He would always be driving it, whether he's sitting, he's eating dinner, he'd always have a car in his hand, he'd play around it. As kids, how we are walking and we start making those noises. That is how he would walk. Running, he would walk like that. And he's always been so competitive when it comes to speed. So who has eaten first? Who has brushed his teeth first? Who has gone to bed first? So he's always been competitive like this, comparing to speed. I think the interest of motorsports really become evident when he started watching videos on YouTube and for other drivers and for myself. And he would keep on asking us, when can I go racing? So we started him off with karting. He did, I think, 3 or 4 just casual kartings. Came back and said, I want to take part in the championship of karting. I thought about it and I said, no, not karting, but let's start with autocross. Because I've never believed karting would, at the age of 12, he wasn't suited for karting. So that's why we put him in the autocross and started him off with the autocross at 12.
My name is Sandra. I am the operations director at Going Outdoor, which is a real retail store here in Nairobi. We are located at Galleria Mall and Two Rivers Mall. We specialize in outdoor equipment, so anything from camping, hiking, trail running. We provide all the gear and equipment. And we have various brands in the store, namely Salomon, Leatherman, Trek and Eat, Katadyn, Invu, so you name it, we have it. We've had a relationship with the Gohil family for quite some time, but mainly we focus on Neel and what he does. We support his talent, and we believe that what he's doing has great potential in the field.
I'm Wayne Fernandez. I've been in the rallying scene ever since I can remember. It's in the blood. I met Neel in 2018. Neel was still doing autocross. I watched him a couple of times before I actually met him in person. Came across a very young, shy, not so talkative guy. We actually started talking in Nanyuki 2022. Yeah, so the first time I sat with Neel was at the Mombasa training rally early this year, and again, I was not prepared for what I was about to experience. Yes, I'd seen Neel racing before, and it was in a buggy and in the car. And having sat in a four-wheel drive turbo and a two-wheel drive car, I figured it couldn't be that much different. So we get on going to recce, and I'm there with my notebook, and Neel says to me, "We are not doing descriptive, we're doing numbers." So I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I don't know descriptive, I only know numbers." So for me, it made me a bit uneasy because I've never called numbers in a rally. Then I figured, okay, how hard can it be to read from a book what you're being dictated to? So we wrote the notes. At the end of recce, I still couldn't make head or tail of what the notes were. But Neel seemed to understand it, because on second pass around, he was like going with the flow and checking everything. Come race day, I was there ready doing the countdown. And when the light went green, this guy was just off. And he was so fast, I think I missed the first 4-5 notes going up to a kilometer. I had to catch up with him and tell him, okay, now I know where we are, let's go. And I was just reading, and within 2-3 kilometers, we started syncing so well. Like I would call a note not knowing what it means, but he already knows this is what it is. Obviously, after the next 5-10 Ks, I understood what I was reading also. So it made more sense what he was doing with the car. Very calm, very composed. There are things that he did in the car that I probably wouldn't have been able to react as quickly as he did, but he did it. I remember there was a time we come round maybe a 2 or 3 right, and because the fog was on the windscreen, neither of us could see outside, and he was just foot down. I'm telling him, back off, wipe the windscreen. He was just foot down, cut over the grass and back onto the track, and like nothing, didn't skip a beat. He was just flat out throughout.
My name is Harshal, Director of Lubricant City alongside Rahul. We've been in business for over 10 years now in the lubricants industry. So we've served many different kind of clients, from motorsport up to industries and the transportation sector.
My name is Rahul, Director at Lubricant City Limited. We wholesale and retail lubricants to supply all over Kenya. We started back in 2012, and we've reached a stage whereby we can now sponsor rally teams, upcoming youth rally teams. So we started with Neel.
We started with supplying a bit of the lubricants, and Neel was very young chap, but he was very enthusiastic about the sport. He started racing well, and we just went on. We started supporting, being at all the events, being present. It was like a family affair.
So my name is Imran Khan. I'm the director here at Taisho Parts and Accessories. We've been in business now for 35 years. We run an automotive spare part company. We deal with brand new replacement parts from Asia. Also, we deal with the ex-Japan parts. So we have businesses set up in Kenya, in Uganda, in Rwanda, in Japan, and in China. So as a company, we have supported Neel with all the spare parts he needs for his buggy and for his Toyota Vitz that he's running. So whether it comes to drive shafts, rear axles, lights, gearboxes, engines. We support him in that aspect. We make sure that his cars are running 100% by providing him the quality parts that he needs to make sure that when he's on the road, he doesn't have to stress about what is happening underneath the car. Neel's a very grounded driver. He's extremely grounded. He's not, I don't believe he showboats. I believe he just knows the task at hand and tackles it. And he knows what he needs to accomplish. These are the reasons that I actually got on board. There are a lot of rally drivers out there, or sportsmen, motorsportsmen, who have a lot of flash. And I don't necessarily feel that that's something that a young driver should have to get to where he wants to get. He should be grounded, he should have good morals, he should know what he wants, and he should know what he needs to do to achieve them. And that is why we decided to hop on to the project that Neel and his father are trying to accomplish.
My name is JOHN.M.MUNGAI. I think we run Pro Motorsports, where we build rally cars and we train youngsters. And myself have been doing rally for many years. I think I won 2 World Championship. We do for Raju as well. Plus also, I think we recently won the RX Championship, father and son. There's a time we used to go to Jumuri Park and we used to go and do practice, and I found, that's the first time I met Neel. I think it was a very tiny boy at that time, very small. And they had a Buggy, which was automatic. And I saw a talent in him, and I saw the talent was growing in Neel. So we decided to partner with Neel, so at least we can bring his talent out. So after that, I think Neel bought a car whereby we started modifying few things, but still we kept it as standard as possible. And we did small geometry here and there, and believe me, the boy can drive. And the best thing was that at least we had a very good bond with him.
My name is Jose Sardina, originally from South Africa. I've been in Kenya for about the last 7 years. Just recently got in for the last year or so into rallying and raids in Kenya. Got a lot of background in a lot of tar racing in South Africa. Did some rallies there, but yeah, cutting my teeth here in Kenya. Looking at guys like Neel, who I saw from the beginning, and I could see the pure face. And you know, we've always been part of that. Motorsport is always bringing the youth into the sport, and Neel has always been very approachable. He always asks for advice, and I think from a driving perspective, there's 1 or 2 small things that he'll refine as he goes along, as we all need to find. But I think he has the right temperament. He asks for advice, which I think is very important. Not that I can give him all the best advice, but where I can, I try and help him as much as possible, yes. First, we met at a Rallycross, and he was out on track, and I had a look at his lines, and I could see, you know, where he was on the power and where he was lifting off, and how he was looking after the car over the jumps. And, you know, you can quickly identify if someone's just out there hammering a car, or if someone's got some mechanical sympathy and driving ability. So, yeah, straight after that, I went to congratulate him on his win that day, and from there we've been speaking. Yeah.
My name is Neel Gohil. I am 16 years old, and I have raced the 2023 season in the 2-wheel drive non-turbo class in both the Buggy and the car. I started back in 2021. I did my first season in the Buggy. So back then we used to have a 1000cc automatic Buggy. It's the same Buggy, but we just had a different engine. And then it didn't have enough power for me at that time. So we changed it to an automatic where it had more pick, but still it wasn't enough. So we did 1 race in that. By race 5, which was a Mombasa race where I got my first proper win, we had a 1500cc engine from a Pro Box 1NZE. I get a lot of motivation from watching old rallying videos from my dad's time back in 2007, 2008. Also, I've watched a lot of rallies, 2015, 2016, everything that's been uploaded to YouTube, you name it, I've watched it. And yeah, it gives me like motivation, like this is going to be me in the future, and I need to work hard. I need to make sure my grades are up so that I can rally. And yeah, it's just I've had a really good support behind me, my family, my sponsors. It's been really fun doing it. It's never let me down. And yeah, if you're motivated, if you're happy while you rally, the results show.